I'm Angie, and you're watching Dante's Vaccination.
Pound for pound, best fighter in the world. It's Devin's time. It's Haney time.
You talked all that shit? Yeah, now what? It's time now.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Bob Arum said some things that really caught my attention when he was talking about making this fight between Devin Haney and Lomachenko. He says he does not want to put this fight on pay-per-view. He believes because of the piracy, pay-per-view is dying out. Now, it's pretty interesting that he would say this because when Terrence Crawford was talking about making his fight with Errol Spence, he talked about a conversation that he had with Errol Spence where he had called him up directly, and Crawford, he told Errol Spence, I could get us $10 million upfront guaranteed each. And Errol Spence said, what about the pay-per-view? Crawford said, pay-per-view is dead. Most people watch their fights for free now. And Errol Spence replied by saying, yeah, I got my fire stick. And Crawford was like, that's my exact point. But it's more significant when you hear a promoter like Bob Arum saying the same thing. So this is exactly what Bob Arum said. Quote, my hope is to do as few fights on pay-per-view as possible because I really believe that putting these fights on pay-per-view is not a wise thing to do. Now, other people might find difficulty in this. It's not a wise thing to do because people aren't buying the pay-per-views. And it costs a lot of money to do it, even if the fighters don't take guarantees. They hate you afterwards because they haven't made money. I think that's the problem Heyman is running into. Bob Arum is obviously referring to the Spence versus Crawford negotiations, where both fighters admitted that they had no upfront guaranteed money, which is extremely surprising to me when it comes to a fight of that magnitude. But anyway, so Bob Arum, he continues by saying, piracy has an adverse effect surely on pay-per-view. But I think, at least from what the cable companies and satellite providers tell us, that since the pandemic, people don't want crowds in their house. They don't want to do big parties with 25, 30 people. Before the pandemic, people used to use these pay-per-view events to entertain. And if they had even 20 people in their house to watch the pay-per-view, they wouldn't think about pirating the signal because they wouldn't want to be embarrassed if it went down. So they were willing to put up the money for the pay-per-view, particularly with the Hispanics. That's the way they entertain. And in many cases, they all pitched in for food and for the cost of the pay-per-view. But since the pandemic, people are reluctant to have large numbers of people congregate in their homes. And that's what really killed the business, because you can't think you can charge $70 for a guy who's sitting at home to watch it. That doesn't make any economic sense for anybody. Even if it's $80, it's nothing if you have 20 people. So until we figure out how you present these events, not on the traditional pay-per-view platform, but some other way, we're always going to fail. End quote. Let me just start by saying this. It's true that pay-per-view is dying out, especially when you have professional boxers that are admitting that they're not even paying for the fights. I mean, it really goes back to the music industry. Nobody is going to pay for tracks if they can download them for free. But I agree with Bob Arum. If there's anybody that is going to pay for the pay-per-view, it's definitely going to be the people that are throwing fight parties or maybe some restaurants or some bars that are hosting the fight. For the reasons that Bob Arum just said, no one wants to deal with the embarrassment of streaming a fight for free and watching it go down right in the middle of an event. At least not in America. So Bob Arum's mind is definitely in the right place when it comes to hosting these fights and not putting them on pay-per-view. But the problem is Bob Arum, he has to come up with his own money to do that. He would have to use money out of his own budget to host the fight without it being on pay-per-view. We had one of our new media reporters ask Steven Espinoza, is it possible that fighters could make the same type of money without it being on pay-per-view and just from the TV views? And he said it's not possible. So I don't know exactly how the boxing industry is going to resolve this situation, but the one thing I can tell you for sure is technology obviously evolves. And what that means is the more time goes by, the more easy it will be for people to pirate these fights for free. Do you guys remember about 10 years ago when you would stream a fight, the quality would be horrible. It wouldn't even be worth watching for free. It would make you want to pay for it because you want the high definition, you want the good audio. But now, present day, you get all of that. You can actually stream a fight in high definition with great quality. And I would say it's at least a 95% chance that the stream won't crash while you're watching it. This is the reason why the music industry, they had no choice but to partner up with companies like Spotify and Apple Music. Because the only other alternative would be just to let people download music for free, which would obviously mean the music industry and the artists wouldn't get anything out of it. So when it comes to the boxing industry, this means these promoters, they're going to have to start working out better deals, most likely with the networks. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, the fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
My name is Chris, and I'm all the way here from Anchorage, Alaska at Scalp Carolinas, and I'm here for my second treatment of SMP. Well, I was sitting at home one day and going over my Facebook page, and they have different, like advertisements popping up, and I saw one for SMP, and I saw some pictures of some guys, a before and after, and I was looking at that, and it caught my attention, so I Googled it. SMP, nothing showed up in my area. So, I did a little more research, and all of a sudden, Scalp Carolinas popped up in the web browser. So I started watching his videos and seeing all the reaction from all the other people. We talked on the phone, we made appointments and everything. I sent him pictures, and he looked at them, and I was like, "Can you fix this?" And, he pretty much said, "No problem." My first session, he made me feel extremely comfortable. It was almost like I was talking to family. He started, and during the whole treatment, we talked and, about our families and our life, and, and things that he does and things that I do. And before I know it, the first session was over. When you see someone doing something that they love, as much as I see Enoch Glover love what he does, it shows in his work. I wouldn't point anyone in any other direction but here to North Carolina, Scalp Carolinas, to get this done.